Hey guys, it's Maria, and today I'm going to be going over a list of things to consider when you're choosing what colleges to apply to, even if you aren't able to go on a college tour, especially given right now with coronavirus. So yeah, let's just get started. So I made this list of things you might want to consider when choosing what colleges to apply to, and yeah, okay. So first, we can consider size. So liberal arts colleges tend to be pretty small, less than 5,000 students. They tend to have more attention per student. It's kind of more similar to like probably what your high school was, where you had like more attention from faculty, teachers, professors, advisors. It's, I think, maybe a little easier to build community with less people on campus. It might be less intimidating and like more close-knit and everything like that. So that's like a small school tends to be like liberal arts colleges, maybe like community colleges, all those small schools. And then there's medium schools, which are between roughly 5,000 to 15,000 students. So most schools, I think, fall in this range. It's a pretty good size of students. The school doesn't feel too small, but you feel like you can always meet new people and kind of build your community around, people that have similar interests and things like that. I would say it might be like a little more difficult to, get like faculty attention and everything, but then bigger schools also have maybe more of like a sports presence, more of an alumni network, a bigger community of people to meet and engage with, and yeah, just like, like a bigger campus. So there's nothing wrong with like any of these sizes. It's just kind of personal preference and like feeling it out. And then lastly is the large school. So medium schools would be like maybe like slightly smaller private schools that wouldn't be as big as like your public state school, for example. Yeah, maybe like medium sized like public schools that are maybe like a little more regional, and then also like smaller private school-ish type schools. And then finally, large schools. So these are probably more like your typical public state school, which, is like a really big sports presence, lots of different students. There's a lot of different mini communities in the school, but it might also be challenging, to like get some personalized attention. Classes might also tend to be a little bit larger, but, you have like a lot of sports. There's probably a lot of like facilities and amenities and a big campus for you to take advantage of. So again, and none of these options are wrong. They're just all kind of down to personal preference about, like, do you care about sports, community, faculty attention, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, all the schools that you apply to will have information about how big each freshman class is. So, a freshman class of a couple hundred might feel a lot more tight-knit and more similar to high school than a freshman class of like a couple thousand, where it might be kind of intimidating to try to, find friends and get to know people. And then also look at the student to faculty ratio, which really determines class size. And, are you going into giant lecture halls every time, or are they more discussion-based smaller classes where, your professors will be able to know your name, you can go to office hours, and it's not like a super long line of people, all the stuff that you can consider. And then, and this list is also by no means in order of importance or anything. It's just a list of things to consider. And then next, community. So does the college that you want to apply to have a residential college system? So, are people kind of divided into these like Harry Potter type houses? Like, do dorms have communities and activities? Like, what kind of events would, like, RAs plan for you, or, like, on the floor? Like, all these different, like, community building programs to consider. And then, going off of that, your school might also have honors colleges, which might be a smaller group of students that are more, like, academically challenged. Again, smaller community, maybe nicer dorms, or advantages when picking classes, all this kind of stuff to make the school smaller. And are you interested in those programs? Would the school have it? All that stuff. And speaking of housing, you can also look into types of dorms, like how much they would cost. Do all the freshmen live together, or are they in like residence hall style, which is, like the standard traditional, like 2 people in a dorm, shared communal bathroom in each floor, or would it be more like suite style, which is where like a group of like 6 to 8 people would share like one bathroom, maybe like a shared living room, stuff like that? Or would it be like apartment style where, people are like living more independently with with their own kitchen, bathroom, stuff like that? So again, like housing is another like important thing to consider if you're interested in living on campus. And then next, going off of housing, what kind of dining halls are there? If you aren't able to visit a campus, maybe just kind of research around and see if people like the food or not. It'll probably lean towards no, since it's a college campus, but it's probably not that bad in reality. But if not, you can also look at like, what kind of dining options are around campus too. Is there like a lot of fast food around campus? Is it kind of like a college town vibe where there's a lot of different local restaurants for you to try, stuff like that? And also meal plan too, like how many meals would you get a week? Is it like buffet style, or would it be like a certain like amount of food? And although this sounds like really specific, considering you're just thinking about whether to apply somewhere, these are again all just factors to consider. You don't have to consider all of these, but they're just things to like think about if you're going on like a virtual tour of a college campus, or just Googling around trying to figure out if you would fit into the place. Okay, next. So percentage of freshmen that live on campus. If you're thinking about living on campus, seeing how common that is with other freshmen, maybe do a lot of other freshmen commute to campus if they don't live there, all this stuff, which can contribute to the culture of a campus, of if everyone lives on campus and it's really tight-knit, or if it's more of like a commuter school where people are just kind of there to go to classes and stuff like that during the day, and there's not as much activity happening in like the evening or things like that. And then next, contributing to community, maybe what kind of clubs you could get involved in. So based off your interests that you developed in high school, so maybe would they have this certain like sports team where I can continue playing soccer or like cross country or like all this stuff. Like academic clubs for your major, like is there like are there clubs for like pre-meds or like history majors or all these different things? So like people that you could like find a community with, really build that. Also, if you're interested in Greek life, how does that work? How much does it cost? Is there delayed rush, or can freshmen join in Greek life immediately? Again, only if it's something you're interested in. Or if you're not interested in that, are you looking for a school that doesn't have Greek life? So, all these factors to consider. And then next, cost. So is the school need blind? If you're applying for financial aid, will the school take your family's income into consideration when you're applying to the school? And is that something you don't like or like? Next, you can also run the net price calculator and see how much the school would cost for your family. So cost is really important. Although a bunch of different like qualitative factors for the school are important too, like whether you fit into the culture and the vibe of the school, it's also very important to also consider whether you could even afford to attend the school. And you wouldn't have to, waste like $80 to $100 applying to the school if you knew right away that no matter that, even if you got in, you wouldn't be able to afford it. So cost is a big consideration. And if you aren't eligible for financial aid, does the school offer merit scholarships, or would you be willing to, spend time applying to a lot of different outside smaller scholarships to help pay for the cost? And going off of cost, but I didn't put it into this category, is also, the distance of the school from your house, like what it costs a lot to go, to fly back home every winter break or every summer break, stuff like that. So yeah, again, all just like the little things of cost of attendance in terms of tuition, but also the living costs in whatever area that school may be in, is if it's urban or rural or whatever it is. Okay. And yeah, how generous their financial aid is. Would the school be flexible to you bargaining for more financial aid? All these considerations in terms of could you afford to attend the school. And then next, academics. So what does your potential major program look like in terms of requirements? Would the program accept AP credit for your general education requirements? How hard would it be to switch majors in and out of that school within your university? Would it be easy to minor or double major? Are you interested in interdisciplinary tracks? Are you looking at grad school? Do you want to go on the pre-med track? Are you looking for pre-law? All these different considerations of the kind of resources that the school could offer in whatever career path you may be interested in looking at. And then going off of that, also study abroad too if you're interested in doing that. Or if it's not study abroad, maybe like summer programs, Maymesters, which are like shortened versions of study abroad that are only for like a couple weeks after the end of spring semester. Also, is the school in a semester system, or is it based in quarters? Depending on your preference of having slightly longer classes but less classes, or having classes that are shorter but a little more intense. All these things you can consider. So yeah, study abroad programs, how wide-ranging are they? Would they fit in with your major schedule? Would you be able to fit it into your schedule? And finally, advising. So would you have to share your advisor with a lot of other people? Is it challenging to schedule an appointment? How helpful do other people find their advisors? All stuff like that. And then location. So is it urban, suburban, rural? Do you want a college that has more of a college town vibe where it's a little more isolated, but there's like a community and there's like a lot of traditions and everything? Or are you interested in a more urban environment where you're able to like explore the city, take trips around the region, do all this stuff? If you're into nature, are there like lots of cool like national parks for you to go like hiking and camping and stuff like that in? Do you want to be near the water? Do you want to like go surfing? Or do you prefer to be like more like landlocked and, like do all these different things? So really, whatever your preferences are here. And also, how far or close is it to the nearest airport? Is there public transportation that would let you go to the airport easily, or would it be kind of a pain to have to, like order a Lyft or an Uber every time? How would those costs add up? All that stuff. And then also, like climate, is it hot or cold? Like regardless of where you live right now, would you get like seasonal depression if you moved from if you are from, like California and you decide to apply to school in like New England? Would like suddenly experiencing seasons and everything be difficult for you? Would you prefer hot climate, cold? Even though this all sounds like kind of superficial, it does kind of add up when, you're in a new place and everything's really unfamiliar. And if you like suddenly experience seasons for the first time in your life and you begin to experience seasonal depression, that can like really make your first year like really overwhelming. Or if you want to experience seasons for the first time in your life, that's also cool too. And then in state or out of state. So do you want to be an out-of-state student? Are you able to like anticipate that cost if it's a public school or if it's a private school? Do you like, how far do you want to be from home? Do you want to be within the driving distance? Do you want to like go thousands of miles away? Like ultimately up to you. And also in terms of location, campus too. So is it like a hilly or a flat campus? How big is it? Is it drivable or walkable? How do students get around campus? So would they like walk, skateboard, bike? Is there like some kind of bus system that will connect them? How's the public transport around the campus area, but also like around whatever area or city that you're in as well? And then finally, vibe. So even though it sounds, again, kind of superficial, I think the vibe is really also important to make sure that you fit in with the culture of the school. So what is the reputation of the school? Is it work hard, play hard, where, people really grind in terms of academics, but then also are able to let loose? Or is it kind of like a stressful environment where people are known to really push themselves and not really have a lot of fun? Is it more of a party school where honestly academics aren't taken as seriously? Or maybe intellectual, where people like really love to be challenged, idea-wise, and love to have like really intense discussions and debates and everything like that. So, like depending also on your major program, like where would you kind of fit in on that spectrum of stressed, not stressed? Also considering if you might be like pre-med or pre-law, for example, what are like the stereotypes of that and how might that play into like your mental health on campus. And then also kind of with the vibe, but not really, like what are the resources of the school? Do they have like a student health center? Do they have gyms that, you know, you would be able to go to if you were sick, or if you need, like, if you want mental health counseling and stuff like that? And also, what's the school's reputation in the community? So, and professionally as well. So, you know, is the school respected? Is it in a college town where the school is kind of like the center of the attention? Professionally, when you're looking for jobs or internships, do people tend to take the school seriously, or is it, you know, like harder to get your foot in the door? Is there a big alumni network where you're able to, you know, like LinkedIn random people and try to like message and interact with alumni to connect you with people? Or is it like a smaller network or not as connected and people aren't as willing to help each other? And also sports, going off of the vibe. So, you know, is it a school with D1, D2, D3 sports? Does it have a big portion of the population as like student athletes? Do student athletes get treated differently than normal students? Would you be annoyed by that? Or would you, you know, want to cheer on really big teams and have student athletes be like really cool people around campus? And, you know, like, what's what's the average student like at the school? Like, how would current students, how would faculty or staff describe the average student at the school? Would they be like work hard, play hard? Would they be kind of stressed out? Is there a stress culture at the school, or is it more relaxed? That also contributes. That is also based on, you know, climate as well too. So like, for example, I go to USC, so like sunny Southern California leads to like a lot of pretty relaxed people. Or would you be in a school in like New England where the seasons and the colder temperatures would make it all feel a little more intense? And then finally, if you don't, or if it's hard to kind of gauge the vibe of a school without being able to visit, right? So you can do a lot of internet research as well. You can kind of stalk the school on whatever social media platforms you like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that. You can also go on the school's subreddit page on Reddit and kind of see what people's opinions are of the school. You can also go on the website Niche and look for reviews of what people have to say about the school. And Niche also has some good information, although it may be outdated, about acceptance rates, kind of like the average type of student who goes there, financial aid, cost of attendance, all that stuff. And then also you can look up the admissions officer of the school who's in charge of your region, and you can email them and ask them if they can connect you with a current student who's like in your major, and you can really just like ask them questions about, you know, would they recommend the school, what's it like going there, all that stuff. So yeah, I hope this list helps in narrowing down the list of colleges you want to apply to. So yeah, thanks for watching.